Hello, my friends. Happy TGIF. I am so excited to be coming to you today. My name is Natasha. I am the creator and the founder of the Glow Up Method. And I am so excited to be here with you today. Oh my gosh. So last night I asked myself this question, like, what time would I have to wake up if I wanted to create this life and set myself up for the utmost success? And just randomly the number 7, it's like 7 a.m. Okay, that would be it for me. And again, I'm a person who likes to do things slow. So like when I started intermittent fasting, it was, compressing my eating window by half an hour, until I got my confidence. Like I'm that kid that, had the training wheels on for way too long and then they got adjusted up and I wasn't really using them, but they were there as the crutch. And then one training wheel came off and then I stayed there and then the other training wheel came off, but then I need somebody behind me, running. So it's like, I need to have this sense of safety and this sense of security in order to get my esteem up to say, yeah, I can do this. So I felt like 7 o'clock, was pretty good. I mean, part of me wanted to be 8 o'clock, but then there's a lot of times I need to be already out the door by 8 o'clock. So, that wasn't going to work. So I was 7 o'clock and I didn't set my alarm because, me, I'm big on okay, we'll start this on Monday then. But I swear my body and mind were conspiring with me. And I woke up at 7 o'clock on the literal dot. And I was no freaking way. I didn't set an alarm or anything. And so I was okay, well, this is a sign, get up, do this stuff. So because I didn't feel this sense I needed to rush up, I also didn't allow myself to grab my phone, but I was I can lay here and enjoy it. This is extra time. I don't have to be out of the door until 8:15. So I have this hour and 15 minutes to do with whatever I want. This is bonus time that I would have been asleep. And so I got up, I made sure to do my gouacheing, I did my dry brushing, I took a little bit longer than usual shower, I spent longer brushing my teeth than usual, just really nurturing myself and just getting all this positive reinforcement. Yeah, this is good. I can do this. This is, this is so beneficial. I got to do all my creams and things like that. And had I had better maybe time managed it, I could have squeezed in some steps, but I made some plans for the day. I made a couple calls. I did some writing. I listened to music that really inspired me to start my day. I was dancing. I had 1,000 random and very conscious thoughts. It was just very rewarding. And then I took my son to school. And, before that, I had gotten a text. So yesterday, I didn't even get to say, I ended up going with my Pleasanton Big Club girls. I ended up, originally was not sure if I was going to be able to go because both my sons had PT and it was at the same time of the party start. But it ended up working out so that I could go. And so I felt very rude. This was one of those things where I need to be don't fear judgment. So because it was a last minute, again, I was okay, I'm going to do the charcuterie cups here because it kind of more went with the palette and the, the crowd and so I was yeah, I'm going to bring those here. But I did not have time and I didn't want to prepare meats and cheeses that would dry out if I wasn't going to be able to make it. And so I ended up texting when I was done and I was hey, I actually finished. Are you ladies still gathering? And I didn't get a response. They were all together, right? They weren't on their phones. And I was I think they're still there. It's it's only a 15-minute drive. If I get there and nobody's there, that's fine. So I end up just being I finished, but I don't have anything. I didn't stop and bring flowers. I didn't stop and get any food. And I felt so rude, but I was honestly, just don't eat them. If that's going to make you feel better. Cause it's I'm showing up to somebody's house with nothing. It just felt so but I was you know what? What's holding you back? Are you not going to go because you don't have something to bring? Or are you going to delay your arrival because you don't have something to bring? Even further and miss out on the chance to hang out. There is no judgment. Would you judge somebody for coming over and be oh, well, she didn't even bring any flowers or she didn't bring a dish? No, I would rather the person just be there. Like, that is not who I am today. I don't care. And as it turned out, there was a plethora of leftovers. You know, there was so much extra food and things. It was like not a trouble or anything at all. But I had to really get over it. And I was like, I now challenge myself to do this. So I left 2 texts. They didn't answer. And I was like, I'm just going to show up. And they were like, oh my gosh, when you got here, like, this energy in here completely changed when you came in. It was just, you know, I think we're very calm. You know, like the music was calm. And then here I come in, you know, like all this energy. And, you know, it was so great to talk to them. I think what was so remarkable is the lady who hosted, she is a stunning beauty, but from the inside out. She has reinvented her life so many times. I am absolutely mesmerized by her, and I adore her stories. Like, I am so inspired by her. I am so grateful that our paths have crossed. You know, I can't even describe it. And so you have, you know, women, these strong, powerful, creative, artistic, articulate women who are gathering that have all these different backgrounds. We have somebody who's from China, somebody from Taiwan, you know, 3 of us were born here in the Bay Area, somebody from Japan. So it was so interesting to hear about the different cultures, the different upbringings, the different viewpoints. But what united us all is our feminine energy and our strength. And I just think there's something absolutely phenomenal and just contagious about that. The sharing of knowledge and the sharing of wisdoms that transpired in like a 2-hour window was just out of this world. I mean, simple things that like the host had, you know, said, if you ever see pictures of mountains and clouds, like, share them with me. I'm going to get back into my painting, and I would love to have some inspiration. And like this morning, I'm looking at the hills and the clouds, and I was literally thinking about her, and I was like, I don't have a good angle. It's, you know, it's not quite the shot I'd want to, you know, get. It's not quite the clouds and everything, but it's like, she made me look at the mountains and clouds different. I see my friend in the mountains and clouds now, and I think of her, and I love the mountains and clouds. So to combine these with somebody I absolutely adore is so special. And then all of a sudden, a text, ding, one of the other ladies sent pictures that she had in her camera roll from Italy of mountains and clouds that were absolutely breathtaking. I was like, oh, stunning, absolutely stunning. Glad I didn't send these Pleasanton Ridge photos right now. No, I don't care. It's not a comparison, but I was just like, oh, these are gorgeous. I need to go there. Where is this? And that's how we all found out it was from Italy. But, you know, just starting the morning, sharing inspiration and saying, thank you so much for sharing those. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for, you know, altering the way I look at the clouds and the mountains, and just have an incredible day. Like, so to have like these high energy, high powered women around is nothing short of miraculous. And I was thinking a lot about this morning as I did my early morning wake up as I was laying in bed. And I was thinking about how my energy is shifting and how I'm really leaning in to these feminine qualities that I used to feel very conflicted about. Like, I knew men liked, you know, growing up in my childhood, it wasn't about the butt back then, you know, now it is. I don't have that like so much, you know, I got a little bit working on it here, but you know, I've always been well endowed, like since I was like 12 years old. And so it was a blessing and a curse. Like, it was a blessing because suddenly I got the attention of the opposite gender. And some of them were men, like way older men that should not be giving a 12-year-old their attention. However, they were. But I knew that it was this, you know, status thing. Like, it was like, I have these. And, you know, I knew that I could get attention from them, you know, like, the truth be told, but I also hated them because it made me feel like I didn't have proper, like, sports bras. I didn't have proper, like, I didn't even know a sports bra existed until I was in my 20s. Like, seriously, I thought there Victoria's Secret boss. Like I didn't have a mom. And even my girlfriends, I don't know, I just didn't realize it was a thing. It was just like, oh, put on my bra. Like it wasn't even, and there was one girl had even bigger boobs than I did. But I was up there in the top of the, boob chain, there at our all-girl high school. And again, because I lived in this male, and, it was so different growing up in the 80s and 90s, but I lived in this male-dominated household. It was just like, oh, they weren't talking about mine per se, but like, they would talk about boobs and things like that. Like, oh, check her out and all this stuff. Like, it was a very, like, conflicting relationship I created with my body. And then over time, when there was times when people would, not respect my words and not respect my wishes and, do things to my body that I was not consenting to, it made me very shameful of them. It made me want to hide things. Like, so I've had this really interesting relationship with my body and my womanhood overall. I've also been very conflicted because I have some really, really, really strong and powerful women in my bloodline. However, they have also been equally, to no offense to them, but weak and suppressed and held down. Like they have been in situations where, they are in complete dire straits, like financially, where, the men in the family ended up either like gambling away, spending away, stealing away all the financial resources. And, those women were the ones that were not only bringing in money, but they were also caregiving for the children, caregiving for the home, caregiving for him. And, they were all at some point of their lives literally left penniless. And seeing that as a child has imprinted such fear into me. It has been this very sensitive place where, I've believe, my frugality has come from a dual place, like that within the blink of an eye, I too can be penniless. And I'm not worried if I'm penniless. Listen, I'll go on the beach on Costa Rica, I'll figure something out. But I have these 4 little ducklings who are dependent upon me still. And yes, some of them can find alternatives. And if crap really hit the fan, I would think that they'd be like, okay, I'm going to go do XYZ, whatever it is. I am giving them the freedom of exploration. Again, this is their life. At some point, I believe, it's a difficult economic system right now, especially in our area. There's layoffs all around. So there's only so much I can do. They are dealing with their own inner battles. And for me to relinquish my position in this and my pressure, I think is a gift to them. Although it is still a burden on me personally, right? Because I'm still supporting them, like a financial burden. But I do believe in time this will resolve itself. And so, they're exploring different things. So again, like I say, I believe my frugality has come from this place of observing these women I adore, these women that were strong and intelligent and courageous and had overcome so many life challenges, yet they still found themselves in this very predictable, very possible situation and had no insurance policy, no rainy day fund, nothing that would soften the blow of their fall. And so not only were they dealing with the emotional aftermath of these things, they also needed to deal with the financial and the mental and the spiritual strain and the children. And I believe that has, caused them much, it's like at some point you have to stuff it because it's like, listen, I cannot deal with the fact that I can't get out of bed because I am so broken, because I need to get out of bed, because if not, then our electricity isn't going to be on or whatever it is. My car is going to get repossessed. Like, this is very serious. My rent, I'm going to lose where I live. I'm going to get evicted. Like, there's so many things that go in with it. And so, I really start thinking about my female influences in my life and how, I idolize them in so many of the strong and creative. I mean, some of them, one of my aunts could do these amazing mosaics. I mean, they are absolutely breathtaking. These like wreaths, like she was so artistically creative. My other aunt, she was a beautiful painter, and she could paint not only on canvas, but she would paint wood. And we have this lovely toy box, and we have paintings and things that I have a couple of her pieces that I was so fortunate enough to have acquired over the years from my gifts and things like that. And my grandma was just a beautiful speaker, and she could sing. Let me tell you, oh my gosh, it was like angels just coming out her mouth. So I just think that there is so much power with women, but I had this like conflicting relationship that they were both powerful and weak, and that they were often undervalued. And I think all of this has gone into formulating my opinion of myself and as women as a whole for so many years. And I think what's really exciting about this 2024 in particular is that I am finally leaning into my womanhood. I am finally embracing who I was literally born to be, is this fabulous, strong, motivational woman. And I see myself with all the gifts that I have. Like today, I was able to do, after I took my son to school, I was able to get some running in. I was able to get some writing in. I attended a whole class. I was able to pick my son up. And I even had time that I was like, suddenly I started thinking about the roses outside. And I'm like, I love that they're outside, but I'm doing all these things on the inside. I'm working, I'm on these things, and it's hard to see the computer outside. And I was like, why not just bring some of them inside? And it was just something I never really thought about. And so I went outside and I look at these. Stop. And they smell so good. I have literally never done this. I'm actually hoping that there's no bugs because I'll freak out. Like when I was cleaning them off, I was like, I don't even know what to do to get, there was like, like a couple like little like flying kind of bug things. But I was like, please, Lord, have there be no bugs in here. Like that is listen, Chris isn't doing anything for me. I got the kid that is the bravest with the bugs. He on the crutches. And the other two, they're almost as bad as me. Definitely Brad is, but Dylan, sometimes he might come in here. So I'm on my own if there's some bugs here. Like this is like, I'm a separated woman. I'm going to have to deal with that. I can't situation. So I have to be empowered. But my God, look at this color. The yellows and the coral and the pink. And I was so inspired by this. I'm like, this is the colors. This is the scheme I want for the glow up method. This is it. It is just so vibrant. It is so warm. It is so like transformative. You got little pieces everywhere. It's multi-layered, it's complex, but stunning. And that's what we women are, aren't we? So I'm going to leave that here. I had to like set it up for y'all to be able to, can you see it there? I hope so. Like, I hope it brings a little bit of joy to you. Like it has been bringing to me literally all day. And I'm just proud of myself for being like, yeah, I want to go get the flowers today. Like, I'm going to cut flowers and I can go and cut myself flowers, like I don't need to go buy them. Like, I'm going to cut them and more will come back. And because roses are resilient and they're strong and they're fragrant and they're beautiful. And so here I am, like living this, I don't know what the heck I just did there, but I'm like this, hey, what's happening? So here I am, like experiencing all these new things. And then suddenly, like my womanly body just started getting super, super hungry, like out of nowhere. I was like, okay, fine, we will eat. So I have this like, and I don't know if it's because I've had like pasta for the last couple of days. So I ended up eating pasta leftovers just because I was like, this is the easiest thing. I don't want to spend a bunch of time cooking and all that stuff. So I had pasta, I had garlic bread. I made myself a banana Nutella with whipped cream croissant afterwards. I get all ready to come back up. And then Tyler needs my help. I need to take him downstairs. He still can't do that. So I lift his leg, carry the crutches, and then help cook his food and everything. So another 20, 30 minutes goes by, but I get this time with my son. And then I also cooked Dylan's food at the same time, and just to be nice. I, after that, was so, like, it was like a ton of bricks had hit me. I was wiped out. I was totally wiped out. And I was like, I just need to listen to my body. Like, not to be the TMI, but like cyclically coming, like it's the right before period. Like we are right there. Like it is probably the day Eve. And I don't know like for sure, but I can guarantee you, like, if I'm like, yep, it happened or whatever, I bet you it's coming tomorrow. Cause it's like all of a sudden starving, all of a sudden, like exhausted, like, so I did take a rest, and that helped me. And I originally set the time for 15 minutes, but I was like, okay. And I woke up, but I was like, I just need to like lay, like my body can't get up and do my steps right now. It is not in that place. But another thing I started thinking about this morning was like, literally, I am so lucky. You are so fortunate to have been one of the few today that have woken up. And now we're going to take it a step further, because if we are so lucky, we will also be able to go to sleep tonight. So locally here, not to shift into something sad, but I need these stories to be shared to not only honor these lives and honor their experience, but also to remind us just how fragile it is. And I think we get so caught up in our default systems that we think tonight we're going to go to sleep and in the morning we're going to do this. And I know somewhere deep within our mind, there is this possibility that like we won't wake up, right? Or one of our loved ones won't, but we just don't want to think about that, right? Like we just are like, okay, we're going to run on the assumption that every other day that I've been alive, I've woke up the next day. So we're going to keep that going. I don't see that changing. I'm not asking for change, but so, terrible story. Here I am, Wednesday evening. I'm in my room, just doing my stuff. You hear a big bang outside and you just kind of don't pay attention, right? You hear things like, oh, that's weird. You hear a second bang. Again, weird, just don't say anything. And the next thing you know, you're getting notifications that an entire street, 5 blocks from your house is blocked, is shut down. And, people are saying that there's fatalities. And so here it is this lovely family, not sure where they are coming from or going, but they were coming or going from somewhere else. The mother, the father, 2 children, aged 15 and younger, are driving, and they get in a solo car accident and hit an electrical pole and then a tree, and the vehicle catches on fire and they all perish. What? Are you serious right now? Like, as I'm just sitting here in my room, these 4 people, just 5 blocks from me, have met their demise. And I don't say that to be morbid. It breaks my heart. Like, I have cried and I have mourned and I've cried for that family, and I don't know them. And I am also privileged to remind myself, like, yeah, this is even more motivation to double down on your crap, Natasha. Like, get it together, because you have a lot of loose ends left here, and this is not how you would want to go out. And, like, you were put here. You did not go through all this torture of your life, and the good stuff too, don't get me wrong. But to end it like this, like, we're not leaving on a cliffhanger. Like, we are going to get this done. And on the same turn, at the same time, I have another friend who, she's got kids about my age, right in there. They have 3 daughters. Her husband is literally the dream girl dad, like ultimate girl dad. Ultimate. Their family is so incredible. Their family has been through a lot of stuff, but you wouldn't guess it. And he has been fighting cancer. And he's hospitalized now. So like, he was doing some megadose. It was metastasized. It was like some megadose thing and still cell therapies. And it's not having the outcome they wanted. But all I know is he's in the hospital, and the whole family has now, from all their places around the country that they are in college and things like that, they've all come to be bedside with him. And I'm thinking again, how many times I've been in that situation where I'm bedside to somebody I love, and how weird it is to me that we're over here and possibly one of my family members is either going to have a surgery or breathe their last breath. And yet the rest of the world is still spinning. And, people are laughing and having a good time and dancing and doing all these other things. And yet my world has frozen in time in a sense. And this one is perhaps expiring in time. So it's so bizarre. And then at the same time, I go outside and I'm putting my son in the car, and my neighbor, I have told you, her husband, she's been married to for 60 years. His health has been declining so much that he could no longer stay at home. And so they made the difficult decision to put him in a facility, and they all visit him and do all that. But I can only imagine how challenging that would be, right? Like you spend 60 years, good and bad, every day together, and then to be apart, that's a real challenge, right? And so I walked by and I saw her garbage cans were out, and I was like, it's gonna take me about 10 seconds. She could do it herself. But this is something that he used to do all the time prior to him getting ill. Then she had taken it on. And it's something I've thought of doing before, but by the time I'd get to it, she would have already done it or whatever. So I haven't, but I was like, today I'm going to do it. And I pulled them up. And then as we're getting in the car, she was like, did one of you two do this? I was like, yeah, that was me, not him. He's on crutches. I was like, second kid, 8 months. Cause she knows my other kid, knee surgery and stuff. She's like, oh my gosh, how do you do this? Like, like you are so strong. Your kids are strong. Like, and I was like, how are you? And she's like, I'm not good. And she's a self-described stuffer, thing. And she was like, it's not that. She's like, many people have gone through this before. I know. And I said, but you have never. Like, this is a new experience for you. Like, our pain is the same. My pain may be for my child. Your pain may be for your spouse. It is still pain. And there's no measures of like, oh, but yours is dying and mine's having surgery. Like, it still hurts the hell out of your heart, right? It still breaks your soul. It still has an impact. And so I've got these situations that are real situations happening around me, real reminders. And I just have to say, I'm so freaking lucky, and you are so freaking lucky that we woke up today, that I can use my body today, that my brain is still functioning enough to be able to hit the record and talk to you, that I had time to look out the window and see not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 hawks, which always reminded me, like immediately after my uncle passed, just circling around, just soaring through the sky. I got to see that it rained out of nowhere. And so we are convinced that our rain stick that I got from my uncle and aunt after they passed away, that is from some, native, it's still like in its wrapping. It is from a native tribe, like they went to, and they got this thing, and I was laughing. I'm like, it was a drought because that thing was buried in their house and nobody could find it to play with the rain stick. But ever since we've been playing with the rain stick, it has been like so much rain here in California. But it rained this morning. I was like, where the hell did that come from? Again, I didn't see that coming at all. But I saw these 6 beautiful hawks just soaring. And there's something about birds. Like, I know I sound like a cuckoo person, but when my grandma passed, a hummingbird came and visited. Like both my grandmas, hummingbirds visited. The same thing with Betty. And it was so funny because like after my uncle died, I'm sitting here thinking a hummingbird, and all of a sudden it was this hawk soaring, and it was like just getting its wings. It didn't know how to like move. And it was like, okay, yeah, that's you. That's you for sure. Like, I know it. So, yeah, I know it sounds crazy, right? So I'm like, hey, to the hawks this morning out the window. Like, I know I do some crazy stuff. I get it. It is not lost on me. Like if somebody else is walking by the street, what is she doing over there? Waving to the hawks? Like, does she think they're going to wave back? Does she think they see her? Like, no, I'm not like crazy. Like, I know that they're not waving back at me, but there's something spiritually connecting with that. And then I leave the house, and there's 3 freaking ducks just sitting right in front of the house. I'm like, what the heck is this? 0 times in my entire life have I ever seen ducks, just like literally ducks in a row. And I said, what the duck is going on? But again, I was so just mesmerized by just the unexpectedness of it all. Of course, I took photos, and I just was like, so grateful that I had the time to wake up early, get all my stuff done, not be in a rush, and had the time to observe all these wacky things happen. I had the time to reflect and honor the family that had passed away. I had time to think about and send prayers to the father that is battling cancer, as well as my neighbor's husband. Well, he was my neighbor too, but that to send him prayers and the families. So I'm really appreciative of that. And it really grounds me and says, get it together. This isn't a threat. This isn't anything. This is real and this is a fact. Do your stuff. Do what brings you joy. Go out and cut some flowers and bring them in your room. Go experience new things. Go and follow through with your plans. I want to see this glow up method out there so I'm helping others, and that other people that see hawks and understand what I'm talking about are like, yes, this girl gets it, and this girl has been through it, and if this girl can do it, I can do it. And I am going to really appreciate the fact that I got the privilege of waking up today. And I'm going to pray to God or the universe or whatever it is you believe in, that I get the privilege of going to sleep tonight and getting to tell my family I love them. Literally, that is living the dream. And all the other stuff, it just gets in the way, right? All of the other emotions and panics and all that stuff. Like, it is just like a distraction for how simple our lives are really supposed to be. So I say all that to say, I really got to go because I'm going to head to the gym. You have re-energized me because I was absolutely exhausted, and now I am ready to go. I am going to do my workout. I am going to come home. I am going to shower. I am going to work on the glow up method so that I get it out to you, and that you and I get to chat and we get to create this community together, because you are an important piece of the glow up method and you are an important piece of this world. And so I want to be a part of your life as long as you are able to wake up and breathe. So thank you so much. Mwah. Thank you. Bye.